Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark and myself, Isaiah, and together,
that's hip hop.
Friendly reminder to like and subscribe. Today we're covering the King Tut of rap, Pharoahe Monch. Revered for his unparalleled lyricism and innovative approach to rhyme and rhythm. As an MC, he embodies a rare blend of raw prowess and technical mastery that effortlessly maneuvers through intricate rhyme schemes, leaving listeners in awe of his linguistic dexterity. His delivery is both commanding and nuanced, with abilities to switch seamlessly between rapid-fire flows and vivid storytelling. In essence, Pharoahe Monch isn't just an MC, he's a wordsmith extraordinaire whose lyrical complexity and social consciousness redefine the very essence of hip-hop artistry. We're covering his debut solo album, Internal Affairs, released October 19th, 1999 by Raucous Records. This was Monch's first project after his stint with the duo Organized Confusion. Crazy as it is, this album ended up getting pulled from stores after some legal issues over the rights for the Godzilla sample used in this album. And only just until recently, you wouldn't have been able to get your hands on this album unless you literally bought it when it first dropped or obtained it through a third-party seller somehow who happened to get it beforehand. Otherwise, you would have never been able to get your hands on this album.
To get the original press whatsoever. You had to be a fan off of the jump.
Off of the jump. Otherwise,
this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, find out in 30 years.
Find out in 30 years.
What's this album about?
Find out in 30 years.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Will Pharoahe Monch ever release an album like this?
Find out in 30 years.
When is he going to re-release it?
Okay.
Find out in 30 years.
But you know what's so crazy is like it could have possibly never, it would have been like completely obsolete. Like no one would, it was on the verge of being completely absent from hip hop's ears, you know, like that was how close this album was to just completely being obsolete and deleted.
Yeah. Cause Raucous gets absorbed by Priority and then Priority then gets taken to Geffen.
Right.
And then Geffen gets absorbed by the Universal Music Group.
Right. And so constantly Pharoahe found himself just at the stalemate trying to get it released and just hasn't been able to up until most recently after its 20th anniversary in October of 2019. So one of the most craziest things in hip hop, but it's also what makes it a rarity and makes it such a gem, which is partly why I chose for us to cover this album.
I kind of want to find out the reason why he decided not to pursue the re-release on Geffen. That's the main issue, is that he didn't want to press that album again on Geffen. Mm-hmm. And who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But you do make a good point where if you weren't a Pharoahe Monch fan from the jump, you weren't going to get his album off there because the original press, you'd have to go find it in a thrift store, eBay.
You would have had to have instant faith in
the
it.
LP is probably worth a lot, the original press of the LP now.
Yeah, I bet. That's probably one of those holy grails now in hip hop. But yeah, if you weren't a fan, if you didn't have instant faith, then forget about it. You would have to
find out in 30 years.
Let's talk about another elephant in the room. What do you say, Zabe?
Yeah.
When did you first hear Simon Says and like Pharoahe Monch?
Oh man, Simon Says I first
hip hop purists are going to be I listened to his album before I listened to Simon Says.
Yeah, you're gonna have some of those people.
Well, buddy, 90% of even the hip hop fans around the way ended up hearing Simon Says a lot more.
Right.
Okay. A lot more frequently than they even heard this album, again, because we're dealing with
right.
the fact of the release issue here.
Right.
So it's limited in that aspect as well.
True. And we're big hip hop fans. I mean, we love hip hop. We love everything about this.
And we'll battle you.
We ourselves are local MCs in our own rights. And so us being an MC and everything, like even just as an example, you know, the only glimpse I caught of Pharoahe Monch early in this stage was Simon Says, because it was such a behemoth. It was so crazy of a song. Like, you know, how could you not hear it? This was everywhere. This was already, like he said, when it first released, it was already in movies, TV shows, like while he was in the midst of barely getting sued for it. Like it was already everywhere. You couldn't stop it. So like you just, how crazy it is. Everybody heard the song. So, and then considering what was going on here, even more reason why a lot of people may have not heard the rest of the record, because it got shelved during that time as well. So there's good reason as to why maybe someone didn't get to catch it. But anyways, yeah, that Simon Says, I can't really pinpoint the exact moment when I first heard Simon Says. Like, I don't know if it was when I like downloaded it again off of like LimeWire, or if I heard it at a concert or something. I think my biggest memory though is hearing it definitely at Rock the Bells, just hearing it in the midst of there. I think Pharoahe Monch also performed it as well. I went to the one in San Diego. I know you went to the one in San Bernardino.
You talking about the one in 06?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 He ended up performing that.
I heard it there, but I can't pinpoint the first exact moment that I heard it. But for me, this album is a rare gem in hip hop. It's an authentic, aspiring artist from Queens that's just pushing the needle, and he's still centered in hip hop, which I love. And it's like this guy keeps just getting better and better with age too, like just in his wisdom. Even, you know, the thing that's funny is like now these more veteran or seasoned artists have a little bit of gray in their beards, you know, or their hair, you know, and it's now marking the pure like hip hop artist of our age, you know, the golden age. So like people like Black Thought, for example, and there's other artists too, but Pharoahe Monch included, you know, that has a little bit of gray now, and it's weird. This year is a special year where I feel like all the vets in the game are like coming back out, and they're just dropping new stuff. Even Pharoahe Monch himself is going to do, I think, a part 2 to this, Internal Affairs 2 in 2024, which is going to be dope. But it was a very special album, I feel like, because it inspired me as a lyricist, as a beat maker, because he was both. Yeah. He did his own beats. And him making Godzilla, for example, not Godzilla, Simon Says, for example, using the Godzilla sample, inspired me, because I was like, man, look at how easy he just took something, flipped it into hip hop. Like, I mean, it was so accessible for us at that time to do that. I felt inspired by that. Also, he has a high pitched voice. I had a high pitched voice as well. So I related to his style, and his pen was just crazy. So it was definitely inspiring to me as an artist. Him, along with Mos Def, Talib Kweli, those guys.
God, it was such a good time to be a hip hop fan back then, man. Yeah. Good God.
And what I was going to say about this is that, you know, we saw him recently too. You weren't able to be there because you had a pin event you were at.
Yeah. Oh, but, yeah. You're talking about the Happiness of Pursuit Festival.
Yeah. Happiness of Pursuit Festival. This was in Upland, California. And also who was there was Rod Digga.
Ontario.
Was it Ontario?
The show, yeah.
Oh, Ontario?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in Ontario. It was Rod Digga. It was Immortal Technique.
Planet Asia.
Pharoahe Monch.
Joel Santana.
Yeah, Joel Santana was there. He was the headliner.
Did Murs show up?
Murs was there as well. Yep. And Pharoahe Monch shows up, man, and he walked right past me, dude. I was standing kind of on the side where you would go into the back of the stage, and I didn't recognize this was him because he was just walking casually in the crowd, and he has this this gray, just kind of like blanket over him, kind of, and he's just walking smooth, And then I realized as soon as he passed me, I'm like, oh shit, that's Pharoahe Monch. The dude gets on stage, man, this dude still got it. Still got it, man. He's not missed a beat. Like, he was just ripping the songs. He saved Simon Says, of course, for last. But it just, the dude, I say all that to say that he's still doing it. Still doing it. Still.
That's your new sound effect. You got to have that on the soundboard. Still. We got to sacrifice one of our sound effects.
So this guy, I had to bring him in the fold for us to cover, just because of how, and the thing is, he's known in the hip hop community, but I don't feel like people have really covered or given him the shine.
He's in the tough middle of underground and star.
Right.
Because everybody knows him. He's the rapper's favorite rapper.
Right.
His beats, the fact that he produced Simon Says, he leaves him in this, he's in a particular situation where he gets dapped for being a dope producer, but he also gets dapped for being an ill MC. That's hard to do. That's hard to be good at both, man.
Yeah.
That is hard to be so good at both, because that beat's sick. I remember hearing it. I remember hearing the beat a lot for the first time before I ended up hearing Simon Says the song. And I ended up seeing it on the Chappelle Show skit where Dave Chappelle was just a large black dude in Japan fighting monsters and like having sex with a volcano. It's funny. It's a funny skit. Now that
you say that, I remember on
TV. Blackzilla was the skit.
I remember it on TV as well. I think Andy Milonakis used it as well as I don't know if it was a skit or part of his intro. Andy Milonakis is like walking over the town or the city, and he's playing this instrumental from Pharoahe Monch.
Yeah, it's going to be a skit for sure, because I remember his, quick sidebar. Andy Milonakis for his intro had bars. I got bees on my head, but don't call me a bee head. Bruce Lee's on my head, but don't call me Bruce Lee head.
I missed that.
You don't remember in his song in the intro?
No, I remember that. I'm just kidding.
He's all like,
I remember that.
He says that with some passion. We ended up going into Simon Says a little too deep, but I do want to play into the point that like not a lot of people heard this album before they heard Simon Says. Right. Simon Says had such a big impact that it came before it came. You know how like a tsunami will take in all the water first? Simon Says took in all the water, and then the tsunami is internal affairs. Yeah. But then that tsunami gets stopped by the good people at Geffen and the Universal Music Group.
I want to talk a little bit about Pharoahe Monch's style here. Like, what do you akin it to? Like, what are you liking it to? I mean, his style or his approach to rap.
Unique voice. Mm-hmm. He's in a situation where he has to enunciate very clearly to bring the fast delivery, but to also make sure that his multi-syllable bars pretty much match up to what rhyme he's trying to do.
Right. And all this Mark is saying, considering the fact that this dude has asthma, which is just
I wouldn't be able to tell. That's like when I found out Mike Tyson had a breathing problem.
Yeah.
I can only go like 4 or 5 rounds or something, man. I can't really fight that long, man. I'm like, what?
What? Exactly. Like, how?
I didn't know that, dude. The Pharoahe he has asthma.
Yeah, he has asthma. Yeah. So he's doing all this in the midst of like having asthma, and he's like spitting like this. Just nuts.
Dude, how is he not on like sponsored by
I don't know.
Whatever asthma
Live Strong or something?
Some asthma inhaler company has to sign him.
I feel like his style, it reminds me, Andre always talks about musicians or actual instruments. His actually, it does sound a lot to me like the sounds or the rhythmic style of a trumpet. Just because on the trumpet, you can really sound out or drown the sound, but then you can also go really fast with it. Like
there's a lot of play with it.
Yeah. And Pharoahe Monch does a lot of that. He does a lot of like, he can stretch something out and then like do little combos.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. I feel like he is like, he ties like rhythmic knots where he'll play with lyrics like, Some might even say the song is sexist because I asked the girls to rub on the breasts. Whether you're riding the train or Lexuses, this is either for the rollies or Tom Exorcist, wicked exorcist. This is the see, he ties like lyrical knots like with his wordplay that way, and that's different. That's different from any of MC that I've heard, because it's like he's doing this intentionally. He's like getting it more very dense lyrically, but in a way where he's playing with you. It's real interesting how he does that, but it's dope.
I get when I'm hearing him rap, I hear a public speaker, but I hear him with an impressive cadence similar to that of like Louis Farrakhan. Okay. Where like Louis Farrakhan could talk, like he could sell ice to Eskimos, the way he can spin things and talk and all that. Right. But to blend it in with Pharoahe Monch, it's like, oh bro, like you're so entrenched to what he's saying, you end up, oh damn, the style is dope. You end up like, man, like you end up falling in love with the lyrics more because, dude, it's presented to you in a way that's like from an audio standpoint, it's very appealing.
Yeah.
It's very appealing to hear.
Yeah. He has a good cadence for sure. And there's certain speakers who just have that, they just have that cadence to their voice that just it draws you in. Pharoahe Monch definitely has that it factor for sure. Like even going back to his duo work with Prince, what was it? Prince.
We're talking about what the producer, Prince Paul?
Was it Prince Paul?
Or are you talking about the group Organized Confusion?
Organized Confusion, yeah. I'm talking about the group.
Got it.
His partner in that. Like even in those times, like dude was just ripping it. I enjoyed those projects as well.
Oh, Prince Poe.
Prince Poe. Okay, I knew it was close. I forgot what it was. Okay, so Prince Poe and him both they sound so good together. So good together. Like it's like they literally bounce off of each other's like skills, and they just like they work so well hand in hand. But Pharoahe Monch, man, even in those early works, there's certain things, certain songs, he's just going off into space like with it. And particularly a track that we can reference would be Bring It On. He's revered for that track because he switches up the flow so many times in there, and he's doing things that you just don't hear from other artists. Like that dude just went bonkers with it on that one. But he has that ability where he could command your attention. And then he can just really but he never leaves the artistry. So he's still grinding in the aspect, whereas like he's still keeping it lyrical for those like, and for those who really enjoy that, but he can really command attention, So I think that's why like Simon Says is perfect for him, because this dude is that he's someone that commands your attention in that way, because this dude is a monster, man. He's a beast with it on the mic. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this album cover.
Yeah.
Looking at the album cover, what were your thoughts looking onto this?
The one scene in Apocalypse Now where Martin Sheen's character's going through the water, like in the third act.
Ooh.
I know that with the red, the fire, this is symbolizing some sort of middle ground to hell.
Uh-huh.
Like dealing with this maybe within himself, because you get a reflection of him at the bottom of that water.
Right. That's good. That's good stuff. Like because of the water symbology and the reflection, it's kind of like similar to mirror music.
Plus it being internal.
Right.
Saying the internal affairs.
You're looking yourself in the mirror in a way, in a sense.
Yeah.
I got that. Definitely I got the hell aspect because it's all red here. There's fire. I also got the aspect that he's like, and he's in control of the fire. So he might be able to spit fire. It's a common saying.
Yeah.
He's spitting fire.
It's a lyrical dulcim.
You get the name, which is also written in that Egyptian type calligraphy style.
This is, with the O's. It's actually, let me just double check. Because I think that's a Celtic O. But I want to see what that O stands for.
While Mark double checks that. Also, he's rising out of the water, similar to Godzilla. Right?
Yeah.
So that's also something that's pretty dope is he's rising out, breathing fire, which Godzilla breathes fire. I felt like he and Eminem should like battle over that right of who's Godzilla though, because I feel like Pharoahe Monch has earned that with Simon Says.
Yeah.
You know, because Eminem calls himself the Godzilla, but in a way I feel like, Simon Says kind of like takes that, no?
Let me see. So we have, okay. So it's a Slavonic language from old church, Cyrillic.
Mm-hmm.
So used in Danish, Norwegian. So basically the Slavic people in the Caucasus Mountains. This is going to be, so it's Norwegian.
It goes with it though.
But
it really goes with the look.
I saw that O and I was like, what is? It looks super familiar, but
can that be associated to like, you know, sometimes it's kind of
I want to tie it to something, damn it.
No, but I'm saying, can it be like tied to like almost demonic in a way, but like hellish in a sense?
Yeah, old church.
Yeah,
old church
type, you know. But what I was saying, Mark, is it feels like he's rising out of the water, similar to like how Godzilla would rise out of the water.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's pretty dope. Because,
yeah.
You know,
because Godzilla always,
yeah. And I feel like that also is like maybe a wink to that.
I got this one too. So they say that symbol is also a section of Earth, like it's Earth. Mm-hmm. So it shows that on Earth there's no separation. There's no separation between matter and spirit, internal. By observing the seen, we also observe the unseen. As above, so below. As below, so above. So it's like a glyph. It's an actual glyph that symbolizes Earth.
Well, that has to tie then with the water and him outside, because as above, so below kind of thing.
Yeah, or like he sees himself as a planet too, just being like touching on the internal part of it. There was the point there that says it shows that on Earth there's no separation between the matter and the spirit. So being one, the unison ties into that.
So
damn, that's cool. That's like, I enjoy that. Like, I enjoy seeing the idea that there has to be some deliberate, there's a deliberate tie to why he put that font there.
But I also like the even the pose he's doing. It kind of feels like the Egyptian kind of pose, you know, like dance like the Egyptian kind of flow. But his hands also look like double snakes in a way. It looks like two snakes the way he's doing that. It's a dope cover because it catches your attention. Cool. It catches your attention. There's a lot of like little symbology behind it. I feel like there's a wink to even the Godzilla thing, him coming out of the water.
That's good too. I didn't think about that one either.
So dope cover. We chose 3 tracks. This one was really tough for me. But obviously we're going to cover Simon Says. We're also covering Truth. No. We're covering
No Mercy.
No Mercy, excuse me. And then the last one we're going to cover is Rape. So Mark was making fun of me with that one. He was like, "Oh, why do you want to choose that one?" But
why do you want you to bring that up?
I was like, okay. I was like, I've chosen that one because of my own reasons, not because of that. Oh, well. But anyways, Simon Says, we'll start with that one first. Simon Says is, of course, the standout track everybody's heard. It has high energy. There's adrenaline. It's an anthem for the ages. Like, this took over the world. This one was played all over the clubs. There was mosh pits in this. It was just an absolute juggernaut, behemoth monster. And it was driven by this relentless, gritty beat and prominent horns sampled from the Godzilla theme.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Toho Godzilla.
Yeah.
Godzilla joints.
it really is crazy though how this track is the thing that really catapults Pharoahe Monch, but at the same time caused him a lot of issues with this album.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy, like, and all because I guess the label, he gave the label the samples to clear. So I don't know who dropped the ball there and not getting it cleared, but you know, that's
an admin issue. This whole album's at the fault of some admin.
The email got deleted or something.
Yeah. Some
what email? Like,
no, I didn't CC anybody on this one.
Didn't you see the CC?
You're supposed to CC the guys to clear all this.
So,
Wah, 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 wah.
Go ahead, start this one off.
Get
Mark.
the fuck up. Simon says, get the fuck up.
Okay, stop right there. I liked what I heard Pharoahe Monch talk about this because he was talking about some of the inspirations behind this. He said he was watching a lot of Italian flicks, a lot of mobster movies.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's like,
yeah.
Get the fuck, like,
yeah.
you know. So
they would always say that.
Picture Pesci or something like saying this.
After someone's getting severely beaten, the one thing that they aren't able to do, get the fuck up.
Yeah, get your stuff, get out of here. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So, and
forget
then,
about it.
Yeah, yeah. So then even Simon Says, I mean, just dropping that in there, like that takes you back. Like if you grew up in our age range, Simon Says is that, you know, old childhood game, you know, that you would play when you were young as a kid. And it's just like it's like a callback, you know, to something deeper, you know, in our past is like, it's just something that just boom, takes you right back instantly. But this time it's like, he's calling you to this moment. And he's saying, Simon Says, get the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that is important when it comes to when you want to make an impactful song and you want to really draw people. Like there's thought put behind this, choosing Simon Says. You know, I know it sounds so like, oh, you just, you know, but when you think about how come this song blew up so much, you know, everything to this had to be just right.
Yep.
You know, so considering that.
Queens is in the back sipping yak. Y'all, what's up? Girls, rub on your titties. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. Rub on your titties. New York City gritty committee pity the fool that act shitty in the midst of the calm, the witty. Bwah, 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 bwah.
I just love the fact that he talks about this. It's like as soon as he created this beat, he knew right away what he had. And he was just like, okay, I don't want to write the verse first. I want to write the chorus. I'm going to focus on the chorus. He goes, what does this song feel like it's trying to do? Well, I want to point the mic to the crowd. I want them to I want this to be that anthem, and so I like the fact that he focused, this is the chorus here. And so he focused on this, and this chorus just gets you so hype. It even gets women to participate in this, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought he was so witty with the way he did it, by also mentioning later on in the song, like, even for those who might think this is misogynistic, no, like, you know, this is just hip hop, man. Let's get amped.
Yeah.
You know? All right.
Y'all know the name. Pharoahe fucking Monch, ain't a damn thing changed. Y'all stay up in the range of shit inebriated. Straight from your original plans, you deviated. I alleviated a pain with a long-term goal. This is the first time we end up hearing, on the single, if you're hearing this for the single, where he's able to mix and match, slip and dodge,
right.
Just doing a big flex on his rhyme style.
Right. And he's doing a slide with you. Took my underloot without the gold. You sold platinum around the world. I sold wood in the hood. But when I'm in the street and it's all good. I'm soon to motivate a room, control the game like Tomb Raider, rock, clock dollars, flip tips like a waiter, block shots, styles greater. Let my lyrics anoint. If you're holding up the wall, then you're missing the point. So if you're in the back, not like
in the wallflower,
participating,
baby.
Yeah. If you're just in the back camping, like then you're missing it. Because right now this song is commanding you to get the fuck up.
Then
Simon Says, get the fuck up. Put your hands in the sky. Blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
blah. I love that, dude. It gets me so amped. Brooklyn in the back shooting craps now. What's up? Girlies, rub on your titties. Yeah, I said it. Rub on your titties. New York City, gritty committee, pity the fool that acts shitty in the midst of the calm, the witty.
Yo, where you at? Uptown, let me see him. Notorious for the 6.5s and the BMs. Heads, you give you beef, you put them in the mausoleum, and shit don't start pumping till after 12 p.m. Ignorant minds, I free 'em. If you're tired of the same old every day, you will agree 'em. The most obligated, hard and R-rated. Slated to be the best, I must confess a star made it.
Just look at him go.
That's the best I could try to make his just try to emulate it, but oh man, I do it such a disservice.
Yeah,
because Pharoah's the man when he's with his own style.
Do you know what the mausoleum is?
A mausoleum's gonna be it's gonna be a place where you could put the dead, like in a little more of a, not like a regular gravestone, but it's more of a indoors. You have a little like a more of a presentation to it. You have the headstone with like more decor. Yeah. It's like designated for you. It's just like, you're not parked next to the guy that bought the other space.
Right. Okay. What about some of these other ones? Like, I didn't know what Notorious for the 6.5s and the BMs meant. Heads give you beef. You put them in the mausoleum.
Yeah. So the mausoleum. Okay. So Notorious for the 6.5s and the BMs. Let me see what we got. I'm thinking, man, they don't have anything that I'm thinking as type of car. BMs.
Like BMWs is referring to that?
Yeah, it's going to have to be BMWs. Heads give you beef, you put them in the mausoleum, and the mausoleum's going to be the big place designated for a bunch of graves indoors. So it's all like in the Rocky movie when you saw Mick's grave. Yeah. Mick's grave's inside a mausoleum. In the Prestige, when they have that burial scene, she's in a mausoleum with it's a wall full of graves with a bunch of spaces there. A little more fancy. And shit don't start pumping till after 12 p.m. Ignorant minds, I free 'em.
Is that being like pumping weight?
No, just the activities.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, but that I don't know whether or not
I was just listening to Pusha T too much.
I didn't know. I know. Yeah, pumping.
Yeah.
Is it a matter of? Let's see if it's a matter of error here. But things don't start pumping until after 12 p.m.
Right.
So homeboy starts doing this in the afternoon, or what's going on with that?
Oh yeah, because it's 12 p.m.
Yeah,
you're right.
Ignorant minds, I free them. So a style good enough that the ignorant minds are able to be free. If you're tired of the same old every day, you will agree. The most obligated, hard and R-rated, slated to be the best. I must confess, the star made it. So a little introspective there.
Maybe the start. It doesn't start pumping until after 12 p.m. Could be like, because everybody's still kind of waking up, maybe, and the bustle of the town doesn't really start happening until after 12 p.m. Maybe, like that's where that's where suddenly like it's just more energy, whereas in the morning it's a little bit more sluggish. Maybe, perhaps that. But there's not much to really work with to try to piece that together. Otherwise, ignorant minds have freedom. If you tied in the same old every day, you will agree on the most obligated, hard and R-rated, slated to be the best. I must confess, the star made it. Whew. I mean, it's been a long time coming, even at that point, because he was doing, like I said, with the duo, Organized Confusion. Like they already did their third project. This is him now going solo and actually making it, which is not easy to do. So he already knew this song was probably going to blow up as well.
Right.
Some might even say the song is sexist because I asked the girls to rub on the breasts. This is whether you're riding the train or a Lexus. This is either for Rollies or Timex's wicked like Exorcist. This is the joint. You holding up the wall, then you missing the point.
That song, even with the Rollies, the Time, like even saying just Timex.
Yeah.
Just so he can fit in the Sexuses, Breastises, Lexuses. This is for the Rollies, the Timexes. With having such a lyrical combo set up, that's forgiven. And it's forgiven in the aspect of, hey, look, like you're going off, go ahead, make it work.
Right.
And it's a perfect way to close it off because after Tom X is wicked like The Exorcist, less emphasis on it, but even still saying The Exorcist, that's still playing into this whole X's rhyme style.
Yeah. And again, that just shows you the skill of the pen of Pharoahe Monch. Just that little excerpt, because he managed, and keep this in mind, he's managing to pull that off in this big behemoth of a track that we got right now. So typically he does that like all day. Like that's nothing compared to other tracks where he's just doing that almost the whole time.
Yeah.
This is just, he's giving you a taste of really what he can do, which is cool that he still managed to slip that in here, still giving you that raw hip hop, which is something I love about Pharoahe Monch, is that that's what it is he gives you the raw underground sound.
Yeah.
Eminem called him and actually gave him a shout out in Rap God and calling him the king, like grind. Like he says a line about like he used to be the king of the underground, but even now he's still grinding like Pharoahe Monch or something like that. So Pharoahe Monch, I mean, just giving him praise in Rap God, someone as big as Eminem, mind you, big, giving Pharoahe Monch his praise and his flowers because he recognizes Pharoahe Monch's abilities with the pen, what he can do, how he's still grinding to this day and still giving you lyrical raw hip hop, like in the way he does it. So
it's tough for people in the hip hop industry to even give dap like that.
Right.
Layered into the fact that men have a hard time giving each other dap. There's another layer of hip hop ego. All the hip hop freestyles like I've ever went to, ciphers, oh man, full of it, full of ego. And then when everyone starts ciphering, all that's gone. It's just, then it's about rhyming. But that's cool that Eminem actually gave them all praise due on that.
Yeah, that is pretty dope. And then so that concludes this track. But this track is just cemented forever in hip hop as being one of the most iconic hip hop tracks to ever exist. One of the cool things I did want to say is that, and this is just for hip hop in general, take Pharoahe Monch, for example, even as a producer. In my own opinion, I feel like this beat has always existed. It was just up to Pharoahe Monch to figure it out and hear it and extract that from the universe. The Godzilla theme has been around for a long time. Pharoahe Monch, all he did was just listen. He just listened to the theme. But with the right set of ears, you can turn anything. I'm talking about clips, sound bites of just people talking. You could turn anything into a hip hop beat, anthem, whatever. And he unlocked it. Similar to, I'll give this praise to Ayatollah for Miss Fat Booty with Aretha Franklin. Beautiful track that she did. Beautiful track. You can't take nothing away from that. But it just takes the right set of ears to listen to something. And they hear something entirely different in a new, fresh way and are able to flip it. That's like the most beautiful thing in hip hop, is that we could do that. We have that ability to do that. Of course, all that being said, you got to get it, all the legal stuff worked out.
Yeah. It all falls back under legal ramifications.
Yeah.
Make sure it passes all the,
but there's ways around it nowadays. Like you take from Dr. Dre, where he will listen to a sample and recreates it so that he doesn't even have to do that. They recreated the sample. There's ways around it now. Or people like producers that are able to chop up samples so good you can't even tell what the original sample was.
Yeah.
So there's creative ways to get around it now. But I did want to just focus on that point, is like, if you have the right ears, you can literally turn anything into such a powerful track such as this.
Anything you hear can be hip hop.
Facts. I agree with that.
Can't deny that.
So we're going on to the second track, which is going to be No Mercy.
Yes.
This is one of Mark's standouts.
Yeah, dude, The Alchemist made a hell of a beat. Mm-hmm. And this beat is only overshadowed by a monster beat in Simon Says.
Yeah.
Peace to The Alchemist for this beat. This is a very underrated beat. I remember listening to this. I know my brother put me onto this song, my older brother. My older brother barely puts me onto hip hop, like the couple of times he's ever did.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm like, damn, he got me. He got me with that one. Back when him and I were always butting heads and stuff, and I'm like, damn it, this is really good. And, I heard the voice. I was like, oh, that's Pharoahe Monch. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And, oh, dude, he goes off, and it's
scary.
It's motivating to MCs to hear it. It's motivating to people to listen to it. Then you got MOP in the back causing a damn mess. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so much fun. This song, it's lyrical presentation. It's not more. It's going to be tough to do this with a live crowd, but damn, there's going to be like the 4 or 5 heads are going to like be spinning this shit word for word because it's so good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is another powerful anthem. If it wasn't for Simon Says, this would be like the anthem on the whole album. This album has a lot of great tracks on it, by the way. Like, it was hard for us to even choose these three, to be honest. I had a whole nother set from Mark, and
we almost fought.
And I'll give an honorable mention later. All right, Mark, go ahead.
So it starts off in the beginning, and then the beat starts presenting it, and then Pharoahe Monch goes off, and they'll bury me with my SP 1200 for sure. Fuck the Trinity, inseminate the earth now, take its virginity. In my vicinity, rap is like an energy pack, sending me back behind enemy lines to rap to.
Now it's dope that that he mentions the SP 1200 because that shows his appreciation for the equipment, being a producer. So like the fact that he's, he'll take it with him to his grave just shows you how much of an infatuation he has for producing, for hip hop, all of it.
It's funny you mentioned that. When I did, I did a wrestling show, I think a week ago. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Winner Circle Pro Wrestling. I did, my buddy Pinplug, Gabriel from Pinplug was there. And him and I bought some pins off of him. I got suckered into I'm getting suckered into the own game. I'm getting high on my own supply with pins, right? I bought a few, and then he gave me an extra one, and one extra he actually made the SP 1200 pin, and I have that. I just got that pin the other day. Yeah, it's cool, man.
Just happens to just hit you.
Such an dude, it's an iconic board dude, people will mess with it. People that do rock, hip hop, R&B, dude, the SP 1200, it's key.
Yeah, even to this day. I think it's pretty crazy that he said, F the Trinity. I think that is pretty bonkers. I wouldn't say something like that. But it shows
Look at the cover of the album. You don't think he was capable of that?
It just shows you though how darker he's able to get as compared to Organized Confusion. Like, this album is definitely a darker palette, just in general. It kind of reminds me of Big L and the album that we covered, the Dangerous album. Oh yeah. It reminds me of that because it does have a darker feel. I mean, he has tracks titled Hell, Rape on the, so it's a darker tone for sure. Yeah. But I wouldn't say something like that. However, that's what he wants to say. Inseminate the earth. That right there is crazy though, because you're talking about like your presence is that great as a titan that you're gonna inseminate the earth. That's a crazy bar.
Take its virginity.
Yeah, let me just go ahead.
Oh, Pharoahe Monch, power level exceeding above average rappers.
In my vicinity, rap is like an energy pack, sending me back behind enemy lines to rap to melodic melodies, never melodramatic, but hypnotic like cellos. For fellows, fanatics, I fiend for those who F's wit. Inappropriate, fill them with so much lead, I'll call Burger and Associates. That's just kind of a dope bar. This rhyme will remain in the minds of my foes forever in infamy. The epitome of lyrical epiphanies. That's crazy. That deserves another. That's what we're dealing with. The levels that we're at right now. And imagine the beat behind this as well is pumping you up, and this dude's lyrically just going ham on you.
Dude, so I ended up reading research on this with the Berger and Associates stuff.
Yeah.
Feel you with so much lead, they call Berger and Associates. Berger and Associates actually had to deal with a class action lawsuit. They would do the. It says, according to their website, the law firm of Berger Attorney PC helps children with lead poisoning. Children with lead poisoning or sufferers from lead paint or dust can have very serious problems.
What?
Berger attorney firm also practices worker compensations. Monch will fill them with so much lead they'll call Berger and Associates to sue him for lead poisoning.
What's the meaning of this?
So it's playing on the fact that there was a PSA for Berger and Associates telling, have you been infected with lead poisoning? Call Berger and Associates at 9. Blah, blah, blah.
What's the meaning of this?
Every local syndicated, law firm's always going to have this local issue in the area that's always going, have you been a victim of a proposition to something?
Has this ever happened to you?
Yeah. So that's cool that this is a local Easter egg that's like, I'll fill them with so much lead, I'll call Berger and Associates because it was all in New York.
We'll fight for you.
Are you insured? No.
This rhyme will remain in the minds of my foes forever in infamy. The epitome of lyrical epiphanies, skillfully placed poems and carefully planned symphonies. Oh my gosh, dude. Who would be ignorant enough to have the audacity to F with the likes of I and the tenacity?
Oh, let me get that. Hold on. The epitome of lyrical epiphany, skillfully placed poems and carefully planned symphonies. Who would be ignorant enough to have the audacity to fuck with the likes of I and I tenacity? This is what you get when you fuck with the likes of the magnanimous flows of total assholes and ignoramuses. MOP/Pharoahe Monch cause damages. The advantages we artists, labels, and managers, amateurs found 6 feet deep in metal canisters.
What?
The presentation has to be there for this song. The breath
much
control.
hype. Yeah.
Let's go back with a question, a statement. Again, the orator himself. Who would be ignorant enough to have the audacity to fuck with the likes of I and my tenacity?
It reminds me of the lines like from Big Pun. You won't ever, even hypothetically, that is a staple line. That's one of those just lines that just stick out of like, who dares challenges me type of thing that an MC will do. A great MC at least will do.
Yeah.
That is going on right here with Pharoahe Monch. Just who has that, the audacity to like try to freaking outwit me on the pin. Like he's challenging all challengers right now.
This is a verse for 1999. Like,
oh yes, 1999
total end of days bar right
yeah,
now.
in 1999
end of days verse straight up.
And that's the thing about that particular year. That was a special year for hip hop because hip hop in the 90s. Of course, we call it the golden era or whatever, but it didn't officially take over until the end of the 90s, which
excuse me,
at this point in time, 1999, like
heavenly divine.
By that time, we took over, and hip hop literally reached that pinnacle of music where it literally dethroned rock and roll. I know that's kind of hard pill to swallow for a lot of
in tarnation
for a lot of rock and roll people.
I fucking love the Eagles, bro.
But officially, that's like the mark of when that happened, right before the millennia. So, like you said, dude,
I remember
right
a young
place, right
Nesquik.
time.
I remember a young Nesquik saying, "I've been the best since '99, heavenly divine."
I did say something like that.
I just wanted to break the fourth wall on that. MOP. So then still, I like when MCs actually, if they do a collab, mention who you collab with in the verse.
Yeah.
Help them out.
Yeah.
MOP/Pharoahe Monch cause damages. The advantage is we banish artists, labels, and managers. Amateurs found 6 feet deep in metal canisters. We show no mercy for the love of this shit here. This is bloodthirsty. Try, load, lock, hammer, aim, cock. So basically getting you fixing ready to point a gun at somebody. Just to show how much passion you have for this, you will try, load, lock, hammer, aim, cut.
The step-by-step instructions. How to
Mark Flores told people to shoot guns on That's Hip Hop. He's canceled.
Verse 2, Little Fame.
Little Fame, bring it live, yo. That's what I strive for. I'm gonna settle this before you get to call 5-0.
Oh.
And let's go into 5-0, because if you guys don't know 5-0 yet, 5-0 is the cops. We all know that. This is elementary school, but it all plays into Tom Selleck into Hawaii 5-0. Hawaii 5-0 plays a cop in Hawaii. Hawaii 5-0. You want to see me 4-5? You want to see me 4-5 blow? Put the phone down before I dump 2 times 4. So if you want to
math for you,
exactly. Dude, math and lyrics, always the best.
Yeah.
So the 4.5, 45 caliber round, dump 2 times 4.
You know that my hammer is heavy, and it got kicked like Taekwondo. Now you gon' die slow. I'm gonna show you how to stretch a mother effer if you want to watch Taebo. Taebo was big at that time, by the way. Jay-Z was even doing it. Yo, we down by the law, and when I hold this pound down it's for me to put it down by war. Like downhill, I'm gonna make a smell course from King's Country Morgue to Brownsville. Man, whenever somebody says from this place to that place, that's a crazy range of people that are about to feel your wrath. For Almighty Pharaoh, Fizzle, Womack, and Dazzle and Days, guns up, guns down, and sun up to sundown, make you sing. Ya la 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 la.
There we go with the chorus too. Just try, low, lock, hammer, aim, cock, show no mercy. For the love of this shit here, it's bloodthirsty. Then we go to Billy Danes' verse. I'm gonna put you cowards in perspective, dude. Hell of an intro to start off, dog. Just come. I'm gonna put you cowards in perspective. If you're looking for child's play, don't look my way. They've never gave me any credit, so I developed the homicide fetish. Deal with it. Deal with it, motherfucker. It's your call. It's only 7 ways that die. It's only 7 ways that usually fall. I'm abusing them all. Now, will the real comers please stand? Get up against the wall. So basically giving them the whole, dang, I forget that execution style. Was it just a firing squad? The firing squad style?
Yeah, you just lay them all against the wall and just...
Yeah. Yes, y'all. Make it easy on yourself. Danes, don't sleep. When I catch you on the creep, I'll lift the ground right from under your feet. So remember when Hulk on Marvel vs. Capcom would just lift the ground, his heavy Hadouken motion?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. That's the word to lie. Be a man and prepare to die. It's the return of the hooded soldier. Your man should have told you. Be cautious if it's walking sideways. So basically, if someone's holding the piece, either that or I think it's a shotgun if they're walking sideways, because they have it that long, like a short barrel, like sawed off. Intended to blaze. First family and Pharoahe Monch studying criminal ways. The differences of style, you have street lyricists, all street, and then you have expansive, in-depth lyricism. I like the order that it went to, because it went from the uphill down to the downhill. No disrespect to MOP. It was just a matter of like, hey, Pharoahe Monch got the best verse. This is just, it's a given.
You're just saying it just happened to be that it was a nice flow of order.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you guys have a chance to listen to the beat, and I in the comment section they mentioned like, hey, how come you guys don't play the bars or play any of the songs? Like, hey, do you want these songs up on YouTube or not?
Yeah.
We don't have that much clout yet to get these up and process in a matter to where, the bar shows up, but the audio is the only obstacle.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can with what we got.
Plus, a lot of it gets copyrighted, and you have to be really precise with the language length of time of using that.
So just
hard
be
to
down
get
with
the
our
whole song already on play for us to hit at a button. It wouldn't be.
I'm saying for the
easy.
I'm saying for that to the in the aspect of like, hey man, like eventually we can get there. Eventually
you would have to have the whole song. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just like, damn, like just be happy with our crappy impressions.
So before we get into the last track, I do want to mention this album as a whole is just a nice listen through, especially if you do like the 90s hip hop sound and the boom bap. If you like that, definitely this is up your alley. But if you like the lyrical stuff, this is up your alley. If you like even the anthem stuff, this is up your alley. The grittiness, I mean, it checks all those boxes. And if you're a fan of hip hop and you're not checking out this gem, you're missing out. You're really missing out. Because from beginning to end, this album is special. So the intro, he goes off. I just want to give some honorable mentions because I really enjoyed the intro a lot. He really shows you his skill set and what he can do. And I like the beginning of it because he just kind of talks about, him like taking over Earth, being the president, and he's setting a new democracy or new government, which will consist of Talib Kweli, Mos Def, and I just like the way he establishes himself in this album. Check it out; it's a dope intro.
Yeah. Even the track with cannabis in the hell.
Yeah.
That
one's a good one too.
That one, I wanted to put up here, but I'm like, dude, there's so many other tracks.
There's a lot.
Like,
it's hard. It's hard to narrow these great albums.
I'd love to get Biss. I'd love to give Biss his shine every which way he goes.
Right.
But
I also want to mention Behind Closed Doors is actually pretty good too.
Yes.
Just talking about his how he's out for the kill. Lyrically, he has that tiger blood, man. He's a machine. Like this dude. And he produced this beat as well, which is very dark and gritty beat, dark and gritty sound. And I love an artist who can produce their own beat and rap on it, because that's the whole delivery of what they envision and what they're really trying to get down to.
I never thought of it like that, where this is 100% their song.
Yeah. Even
that's
from
cool.
the beat
That's a cool
to
point.
the lyrics. Queens, if you want to experience his storytelling, you're going to get that out of Queens, where he talks about one of his good friends who used to play ball with him. And this is loosely based off of a true story. One of his friends, buddies, used to play ball with, who could have made it to the NBA, ends up getting shot. And he brings this into a song because he talks about like, that's so Queens. Like there's a lot of people that have this potential to really make it out, but something traumatic like that happens. So his storytelling skills, the way he describes things is just uncanny. It's not like any other MC could describe it. So check that one out. There's like this whole album, to be honest, is really good. Truth, I do have to mention Truth because that one's one that we almost covered. And Truth is really, really damn good. The concept alone, if you just think about that in itself, just trusting yourself as a person, and, because the title's called Truth, and it touches into different realms of like religion, into time, into all these things that like force you to face truth. What is truth? And Common's on it. Talib Kweli's on it.
Yeah.
And Pharoahe Monch. Like this is a crazy triple threat that's on this track, talking about a dope ass concept.
Yeah.
And the beat's sick. Like it's a dope ass. We almost covered this track.
Yeah, we did.
Any other tracks you want to mention that you like on here?
That was the Hell was the one I wanted to put over because I know you were going to do an overview of the tracks too as well.
But the rest of it is good, is great. All of it's great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Those were just some standout ones I really wanted to mention. So the last one we're going to cover, and I want to just give a forewarning before we get into this track, because it can be sensitive for anybody that might, have any type of experience or just to don't want to really dive into that. So, but we're covering this because this track touches differently on the love of hip hop in a different way. So I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the track title itself is called Rape. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this track and I felt that it deserved some attention was because of Common. You know, Common did a track called I Used to Love Her.
Yes.
Referring to hip hop as a woman. And there are some artists that have played on that concept, Common being one of them, one of the most notorious for that. And I think that is a very provoking way to talk about hip hop, because for some, hip hop is their love. And that's that's something that can be related to a love that you might have for a woman, because, you know, a love that you have for a woman is different from any other kind of love. You know, like, you're my friend. I have love for you as a friend, love for Andre as a friend, you know, love for my family as a family member. But when you have love for a woman, it's another level of love, you know, that you can have. So to use that as a metaphor for love for hip hop is the highest degree of love you can metaphor that to. And I feel like for us to get a track here about Pharaoh's type of love for hip hop is interesting. And I want to kind of dive into that because I feel like it goes deeper into his perspective of hip hop. And it just might show us another aspect of him.
Yeah, and you even also think about the unique storytelling of it. Mm-hmm. Of course, the idea of it and the title of it does give it a lot of people to assume things. Mm-hmm. But when you have the ability and discretion to separate both the subject matter and actually like dissect the lyricism to it, this ends up proving itself to be a song worth listening to. Mm-hmm. But of course, we also send out our discretions to people that are uncomfortable with that. But yeah, when we proceed with this, just know that this is a verse very graphic in nature, and it's Pharoahe Monch gets very forceful with who hip hop is.
Yes. So this track starts off with the woman screaming in the beginning. And verse 1, and also pardon me if I can't say all the lyrics. You know, Mark will try to help me out on that, or even try to say it the way he says it. I mean, he's such a unique style that it's very hard to imitate it, but we will try our best that we can.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off first here. I'm obsessed with multiple new photographs of the beat in my room on the wall, pondering the verses, fondling my balls. Witness who will take rap and chase it through unoccupied, dimly lit staircases and rape it. So the imagery alone already, what he's giving you is painting a very vivid picture of already, you know, you got photographs on the wall of nude photos. He's in this room alone, you know, and he's already like wandering in the staircases, and he wants to rape.
Yeah, he wants to have hip hop, and it's like the symbolism that he's forced to use is like, hey, look, what other person, if you are male, what other thing are you going to, you know, you're going to try to do this with that of the opposite sex. So he the one thing I could give him credit to is that he's making it, his lyrical style's given him the ability to let people know, hey, look, this is hip hop. Mm-hmm. This isn't an actual woman. This isn't anything of that sort. So with a song of this magnitude, you have to be that good to do that.
Right.
Have to.
Right. I love the way he even describes this part, like that he's going to take rap and he's going to chase it. So many rap, right? And sometimes I question even the intention behind it. Like, do some artists that, and this is just me. I mean, I'm just speaking honestly and candidly with our listeners, with you. And this is just how I see it sometimes. There's rappers these days that I see, and I question whether they really love hip hop, because, either they could be flashing money, flaunting or whatever. And I kind of question, what's your motives? Like, are you doing it for money? Are you doing it for fame? What are you really doing this for? And you're looking with that shock look.
You're telling me that there's people in hip hop that only use it to pump up their own self-identity? Isaiah. And there's people that don't do this for the skill itself.
What's with the wire?
Not for your passion?
Yeah.
You don't say. You're absolutely right. I am for the skills in this current, in 2023, for the skills to not match up to commercial success is to me is very insulting of hip hop.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, and it doesn't help that a lot of people go independent first,
right?
Because then it's just, hey, how well can your social media team market this?
We talked a little bit
and put
about
that over.
Before. Yeah.
Anyway, but you bring up a good point, and that's going to be one of those things we're going to have to cover. Like one of these episodes, we're just going to have to talk about the hard topics of hip hop.
Mark wants to get Montel Williams with it, man.
Oh man.
But the fact that he's willing to chase it, and this goes again to what Eminem said about Pharoahe Monch, grinding like I'm Pharoahe Monch.
Yeah.
Pharoahe Monch has, just for lack of better terms, he has the eye of the tiger. Like he's chasing something. He's chasing, in a way, greatness. He's chasing just a legacy of like a heart for hip hop in a way. I mean, go ahead. I know you want to say
he didn't
something.
have to do Thop Fest.
No, he didn't. No.
He walks right past you. No ego behind it. No security.
Yeah.
Homeboy just went, did the set, rocked the show. Dude, that's the passion that you have for it, man. Like you just,
very true.
It's something else that drives you. Yeah, the money will be there as a byproduct of how hardworking you are and how talented you are.
Right.
The money comes there.
Right.
You just got to do the work and do the thing that you excel in.
Right.
You know?
And it also shows you too, even with the industry itself, like it's not always set up for you to succeed. And sometimes you have to take it, even taking it by force. Because if you're really going to want to, and I've talked about this with some friends, like, you and I, Mark, we may have the talent, right? But if we're not putting ourselves out there and we're not taking it by force, no one's going to hear of us ever, right?
Exactly.
And I'm only using us as an example because like that's in the meaning to the song is he's willing to chase it. He's willing to go after it. He's willing to take it by force. And that metaphor is just powerful because unlike Common, who says, I used to love her, things fell through, she's not the same. He's kind of letting it go. He's like grabbing it and he's like not letting go of it.
Yeah.
And that just shows you a different perspective from Pharoahe Monch's psyche, where he's not letting go of this thing. He's going to take it by force.
Yeah.
So he gets really creative.
Grab the drums by the bass line. I snatch the kick
By the waistline.
snares.
The waistline.
Yep. I grab the drums by the waistline. I snatch the kick the snares, and sodomize the bass line.
Sodomize. Whoa.
Never waste time. I give the verse rabies. Come on the chorus, tell the hook to swallow my babies. Maybe I might switch. Let the witch live. The original plan was to kill the bitch on the bridge.
Because nobody's getting her after you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's another way of saying, like, you know how Rakim talks about no one's coming after me after this is done?
Yeah.
That's it. Like, just a crazy, like, the perspective that this dude's, the angle that he's coming at with it, crazy.
Ditch the body. Now he's on his necro tip. Ditch the body part.
Yeah.
Off somewhere near the crescendo. When my innuendos elapse, my winter. Oh man, boy, let's go back. Let's Ditch the body parts off somewhere near the crescendo. When my innuendos elapse, my mental window attacks. The instrumental elapses. Perhaps that's the only reason why I spared her life. So it was, the beat ended up being so good that he ended up sparing the life of the person that, hip hop that he was actually supposed to kill off after he was done. You could solo my fucking vocals and I'll still get trife. Slice the rhythm, disfigure the face of the groove for any fader that flies or knobs and buttons that moves.
And it's like so detailed, man, in the descriptions. And the fact that he is able to break it down for us in pieces of the very things that make up hip hop.
Yeah.
And talk about the ways he wants to take it. Like, is to me,
for all
it's
himself
it's,
initially.
It's mind blowing. It's on that level.
Yeah.
Just
it's over 9,000. It's storytelling, but then this is kind of like taking the storytelling idea and just going a little bit deeper, but in a section where some are going to find it uncomfortable.
Yeah. Pre-chorus, consider this. The loops are similar to clitorises exposed. On your miss is a hole, a vicious cycle of sin that doesn't end till I stop again. A million MCs and they ain't saying nothing.
So the loops are similar to clitoris is exposed, so just a straight pussy.
Right.
On your miss is a hole, a vicious cycle of sin. Yeah. And then the chorus is, they ain't fucking it right.
You know,
they
when you
ain't
think
fucking
about
it
it,
right.
when you think about it, and I've mentioned this before to other peers of mine, and this is just the way I see it as an MC. And I don't know, people don't really know us as MCs, so it's kind of weird us talking about it in this fashion, but we do get down. I mean, I guess you've seen freestyles, but even the freestyles don't really show our true capabilities. But what I was trying to say is that even as MCs, you know, we see this differently. And I see it as, shit. I was going to talk to the fact of like them ain't saying nothing. Oh yeah. So with hip hop, I feel like whenever an MC puts together a beat, that's one thing, right? It's like giving birth in a way, because like even Pharoahe Monch said it when he made the beat. Simon Says it feels like you feel like this orgasm feeling, like whoa, this is fire. This is like getting you excited, get your hairs in the back of your neck to stand up, like stuff like that. So it's thrilling in that sense. But when you craft together a song, that's like watching your baby come to life. I guess I was going to say like making the beat is like an orgasm, like in having sex.
It's the sex, yeah.
It's the pleasure of that.
Seed.
But once you craft the song, it's like your child coming to life. It's like your baby.
Yeah.
And in a way, over time, over this 20-year period, Pharoahe Monch could look back at this and kind of see his baby all grown up now. Like, this is an album. This is a classic. This is going to be a legacy for him in a sense. So the way I see it, I see it that way. Not everybody does, but as an MC, as an artist, that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I understand where he's coming from in that sense, in that angle, because of the metaphor he's using for this. It's like his fucking kid, dude.
Yeah.
Verse 2?
The second verse, he ends up... So they go to the judicial matters at the end of this. So now it's like, what the heck? She had the nerve to take this case to court, knowing I raped for sport, took the stand crying, denying the whole involvement, lying. Why would an ex-cop lie in a sex shop fly? Linen down, grinning with my coat over my shoulder, sitting. Dog, so just listen to this rhyme style. Linen down, grinning with my coat over my shoulder, sitting.
Not only is it descriptive, but the scheme is just crazy.
Browsing pornography. The stenographer smiling the whole time while jotting verbal photography. So the stenographer, the guy's writing out the case dialogue, is all smiling because he's hearing all the smut and writing it down, little pervert.
That's just a brilliant rhyme scheme, though.
While jotting verbal photography.
Her eyes mahogany. What?
Yeah.
What?
Mahogany, in a body.
Man. Goddamn.
I flashed to a photo in my mind of a body bludgeoned with slashed arteries. Pardon me. Back to the case, slapping a face.
Back to the case.
Examining the jury similar to cracking a safe. What happened to bass? What happens to bass? It was an instinct. I would inhale eighths. Sniff that. Sat her ass all over my face to taste it. To hell with 1980 remixes. Fuck disco. Turned on the 3000.
Man.
He's talking about the MPC 3000.
Right.
Turned on the 3000. Stuck my dick to where the disco. So inseminating this beat.
What? And exactly to what I was just saying. This is, I mean, and that's what I was saying. I kind of understand where he's coming from in the sense, and it's because, you know, it feels like that orgasmic feeling when you're having sex. Like, dude is literally sticking his thing where the freaking disc goes.
Yeah,
and he just said F disco, so it's nuts.
Yo, Konaz, rip the sexy MP60. Buying a ticket to hell, verbally dicking the 12 down. Sounds shitty. I knew she used to be gritty. Too many impotent MCs in this godforsaken city.
And the whole thing with the hell play, and let me break this down because, you know, me coming from a religious background myself, I feel like I am in a unique position to help guide those who might shun away from a track like this, or even like, you know, the uses of hell and that imagery, and even because you're talking about him coming from the perspective of Queens, you know, growing up on the streets and the things that he would see, like, you know, you would liken that to being hellish even. And I think he plays with that metaphor a lot, you know, due to that. And similar to Big L, like I mentioned earlier, does kind of the same thing. Cause I was always wondering, like, why is it going so dark?
Yeah.
But you know, I give it the understanding that they're coming from a different perspective than I am, you know, and, understanding that, you know, like, who was it? It was freaking, the infamous Mobb Deep who talked about this track, Hell on Earth.
Yeah.
Hell on Earth is a huge hip hop anthem, you know, Hell on Earth. Talking to this though about, you know, we're living in hell, blah, blah, blah. So, and also too, I mean, religion is something that we naturally will gravitate to for a metaphor because we understand it so well in a sense, heaven and hell, night and day, darkness, light, like, you know, so keeping all those things in mind. You know, when somebody's pinning down something, they're using all different types of metaphors, anything that they grab onto to relate a message to you, so you can get the feeling, imagery, ideas of where they're coming from, what their perspective is. So
yes,
keep that in mind, man.
Yeah, and then after that, this whole joint just ends in the chorus. Still with that, I mean, dude, it's good that you chose this song and actually went with it. I know you and I were going a little bit back and forth on it.
It was between truth or rape. Like I really love truth so much.
But you're right to bring this along because we need to put emphasis on the controversial. We need to put emphasis on storytelling, on the fact that this is the stuff that we like.
Yeah.
You know, this is the stuff that, hey, I mean, a lot of people have gone even darker.
Right.
Dance with the Devil, I feel, is darker than this.
Right. Yeah. True.
All of Necro's songs ever in the history of Necro's making songs are worse than this.
Right. And it kind of plays to that hardcore.
It's like
aspect.
the Diet Pepsi version of
True.
Dance with the Devil or something like that.
That's true. But it also plays to the aspect that we were talking about is when a hip hop artist goes this far with it, it's really for those hardcore hip hop people. This track right here, hardcore all the way turned up, I feel like. I mean, of course, it's not to the levels like you were saying, like, Dance with the Devil or Necro.
That one you're needing like 5 knobs.
Yeah, but for sure, this is in that playground.
Yeah.
For sure. So, you know, and that's why, to me, it resonated because, I mean, you and I, we're in this. Like, we do this hip-hop thing, and that's So I resonate with it because we're that hardcore, and we can listen to somebody like Necro because we're that hardcore. But like at the same time, we like a lot of different artists, but it might not be for everybody. But it resonated with me so much that I had to talk about this one because I felt like a lot of people will skip this one just because of the title, just because of that. So,
it needed to be put in the spotlight.
Yeah. And I feel like Truth will be an easy one for someone to just go ahead and just listen to and give a chance. So you'll hear why it's so special. Truth is just a great, amazing track. But yeah, takeaways on this album as a whole for you, Mark.
It was a great listen through. I enjoy the fact that Pharoahe Monch has been in the game so long, has been working as hard as he is, and damn, dude, homeboy still got it.
Yeah.
Would never let off the pedal.
Nah.
Knows what works in his eyes with his lyricism, with his delivery, with his overall artistry, and keeps it consistent. If you're an MC to me and you're able to be consistent with your rhyme style, you won't have to defer to fans on different albums. And I hate going back to this, but this is the perfect example is Most putting out Black on Both Sides. Mm-hmm. We're waiting for the follow-up, and then we get the New Danger with no expectation of what he was doing.
Yeah.
We didn't get we're still waiting for that second impactful Black on Both Sides. Mm-hmm. With Pharoahe Monch's case, he's consistent in all his efforts. The style's going to be the same, but damn, like the lyrics sure ain't, because he's bringing it every single time.
Yeah. And he has different sides to him. Like he can go social. Yeah. He can talk about social things that are going on.
Good storyteller.
He could go internal. He can go, he could do hype stuff.
He's a 5-tool MC for sure. He got to every which aspect, and then even the 6th tool in the aspect of being able to produce a dope beat.
Yeah, and he can produce too, which is dope. He later on goes away from it, which I kind of wish he pressed into it more. Yeah. But that's fine. That's okay because you want to kind of focus maybe on the lyricism and stuff. So that's okay. But man, this dude is just well-rounded as an artist. And he's super humble too now, which is like super dope. Whenever I see somebody like that legend be so like down to earth and kind to and humble, like, dude, that's even doper, man. Like, that's so sick. Like you said, he didn't have to be there. He didn't have to do that show at the Thought Fest. Like, he didn't have to do that. And I thought about that too. I was like, this dude really doesn't have to be here.
No, bro.
So that was kind of sick that he was doing that. My takeaway from this album is just, I feel like this one has always been that classic, and it's unfortunate that it had to get shelved the way it did. Like, that sucks. But I guess it makes this even more special then because it got shelved like that. And the fact that not a lot of people has heard the album through makes it kind of even more special, like a hidden gem. That's what this feels like. It feels like a hidden gem. And I mean, listening through it, like, one of the critiques that someone was saying was like, oh, well, coming off of Organized Confusion, you just feel the absence of Prince Poe. And I kind of don't like that critique, because I think at a certain point, if it's in somebody's heart to do their own thing and branch off eventually, then that's their right to do. Yeah. And Pharoahe did 3 albums with that dude. He even has him on this album, as a matter of fact. And he's still, throughout his career, has done tracks with them. But at a certain point, there might be a time when they want to do their own thing and want to venture out.
That argument has no legs to stand on, because it starts off with Pharoahe Monch is doing a solo album.
Right.
Like,
that's the whole premise.
If Prince Poe's back on every track, then you got the 4th Organized Confusion album.
Right. And, this is just gives you growth as an individual.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away that he won't, maybe he might work with them again, but he has growth as an individual MC. And in here, dude, I think this was an important album for him. This one really cemented or started to cement his legacy as this lyricist. I mean, Simon Says really catapulted him. Like I said,
he's on the forefront after this point.
Right. After this point, he's definitely made his name known. Because after this, he was always in the ring of, the names of Mos Def, Talib. Yeah. He was in that Common. He was in that sphere. So this is an important album. I think it really shows us, Pharoahe Monch and like his capabilities, what he would eventually do and become. And if you haven't checked out his earlier works, like that will be a treasure as well to check out. Organized Confusion is a dope group. Like 3 albums that are just dope. They're dope albums. Yeah. And then on top of that, all his later works that he's done.
And then there's also a track on the first Lyricist Lounge album where he does a cipher.
Too.
If you want to see Pharoahe Monch just casually come into a cipher and obliterate Common, Black Thought, and a lot of other MCs that are in the cipher, it's a good treat because because Black Thought comes on and you're like, oh damn, that's dope. Common comes on, does it, and then it's like Pharoahe Monch comes out of the cut, just like with his style, and it's like,
what a dope name to Pharaoh. Like, people always talk about being the king and this and that. Pharaoh, dude,
Jerry the King Lawler, Elvis the King of Rock and Roll, but now you got Pharoahe Monch.
Pharaoh,
dang.
And then it's maybe this might bug him or so, but the Monch, they said like he used to be a class clown a lot, and he would go in on this girl, I guess. And one day someone messed up his hairline. They messed up his hairline, right?
Yeah.
And so he wore a hat, and the teacher goes, "Now you got to take that hat off." So he takes it off, and the girl's like, "What? He looks like a Monchichi or Monchichi."
Oh,
and that's that little
Monchichi.
That's that little doll, that Japanese doll that like has a round hairline.
Yeah.
And so he said, "I don't know. I owned it or whatever. I owned it what it was." And
because then people start calling him Monch after that.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But it just shows you like dude, this dude's a beast. The way he just made his name, made his mark in hip hop.
If you get bullied enough, you end up coming up with such a dope first album. Goes to show you. It's literally in his name.
It's literally in his
name. It's all
name.
Motivated. It's eternal affairs.
So who gets the last laugh?
I'm going to settle this internally. Through hell. Fire. And
this is the way I'm going to settle it.
Pharoahe Monch, like, oh, the way we'll settle it. I'm the Monch, huh?
Stupid.
I'm the light, the dark, and the Monch. Lyrically epiphany, skillfully play songs that carefully plan symphonies.
What's cool is Monch also means to like eat something pleasurably. So that's also cool too, is it does have a meaning too. Dude, I can't say enough, bro. Like this dude made his mark on hip hop. If you haven't heard him, you're like freaking missing out.
Yeah, you better read a paper or something.
Yeah. Because you're about to experience an MC who might knock your favorite MC off that list. So check him out. Before we end things, I do want to give some time to just talk about some of the things that we're working on. Mark, you have a business that you're still trying to grow, and if you guys want to support small business, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. And if you like special relics and hip hop gems, and you need something to just swag out with on your like latest cap or your freaking backpacks, whatever, Mark's your plug. That's El Notorious Pin. How can they find you?
Yeah, come find us on the notoriouspin.com. Leading up to the Black Friday sale, I'm going to end up having 25% off. And then even off the jump, any purchases over $20, I already do free shipping. And I'm like the most anti like dude that doesn't sell shit on online orders. Like I'd be lying to say, oh, we're busy. We're really not. I make more, I sell more sports pins on eBay, to be honest, but I do love, that's why I like going to shows. I like seeing the in-person transaction versus the online stuff. And man, well, that's a way to plug in my online sale, isn't it? 25% off. I'm ended up doing 25% off for Black Friday sale. Then I think I'm going to do like a stupid promo code, like overrated or some stupid like that, just to, cause I always say, I'm like, hey man, I'm making pins that no one's asked for. Like,
and that's what's dope though. Cause you have like your own, like, you have your own niche of like, you have your thumb on the pulse as far as like, what is qualified to be that pin.
I like making pins. I like making pins I make, like I have to like them first in order to promote the sale.
Right.
I have to have the passion for it. And if the guy or the gal has a passion for it, perfect. Then it's all more to put over because then I can sell it and I feel the love's behind it. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So the notoriouspin.com or on Instagram at lnotoriouspin. We also have TikTok and we're also here live in effect on That's Hip Hop, where we're going to let's just start taking the negative comments. Let's print them out and just like use them in the freestyles that we use.
Stupid, trying to battle them.
No, well, just
battle them on the freaking podcast.
Battle them on the net.
Yeah, I think in time people will get to know us a bit better and will like know that we're really just three cool individuals who just like hip hop, man. That's it. We're not trying to like push a narrative or anything like that. Like, we just love this stuff. And there's still things that we know that we don't know. And we're still learning. Like, it's not like we know it all.
Eventually we'll be the end all opinion with hip hop eventually, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. We're just right now, we're just doing our thing, man. We just love talking about it. So, so if you guys haven't followed us or subscribed to us, maybe this is your first time listening to us, we cover hip hop albums that's exclusively. And we just talk about the artist, their style, the science behind it, the album cover. We go into our 3 favorite tracks of the album, dissect the lyrics, and help us grow, man. Help us really turn this into something special.
At Costco, we are like the people that's giving out the sample of the album.
Yeah.
You taste it. You taste the best parts of it, and you're more than motivated to just buy into it.
Right. Right. So we ask, and we know we're looking for ratings and stuff on our Spotify, on our iTunes. So if you guys can give us a rating and leave a comment of what you think about the podcast. Any comments, those are helpful. Like we want to try to be as most engaging as we can to really, be in tune with our community and what you guys want to hear, what you guys are looking for in the next album. Let us know. We'll go ahead and cover that.
Freestyles every 5 episodes as well.
Freestyling as well. So we got a lot going on.
Yeah, we're just not opinionated hip hop, current and former MCs. We actually still practice what we preach. So every 5 episodes, we put ourselves to the test. Impromptu freestyles off the top, 100%, not a freestyle that your favorite artists like to do.
Yep.
But yeah, just consider where you're getting your hip hop podcast from, guys. Always do that.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
You do that with your news sources. You do that with your hip hop.
Yeah. All right, Mark, close us out, man.
To the MCs, if you drop a mic, drop a like.
Y'all know the name. Pharoahe Monch.
And that's hip hop going insane in the membrane. Yo, liberated the devil of the David down out of the dead. Dub, just blah, 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 blah. I talked to Hakeem Olajuwon in the back of the Don't ever mock me. I'm Pharoahe Monch, B.